Welcome back to the Pep Pod. Welcome back to the Pep Talk Pod. I am so happy that you are back with me. If you are listening to this on the very first one, hello, my name is Maria. I am your host. I am so glad to be here with my tiny little microphone, making all of my dopamine dreams come true. In the second episode of the podcast, we're going to be giving a pep talk around the BS that you tell yourself when your dreams aren't possible. This, for me, oh dear God, we're like a little bit close to home. All of these ideas have come in from people on Instagram, friends, clients, things like that. And I'm like, oh, this one is a little bit of an edge for me to talk about because honestly, I deal with this one every single day. So let's dive into getting yourself out of the funk when you're like, oh, I want this so badly, but it's just not going to happen. What's the point? If you're feeling like that, let's get out of it. So, the BS I tell myself when my dreams aren't possible, for me personally, the BS that I tell myself is I can see other people having it, but I'm not as good as them. They're all so much nicer than me. They're so much more fun than I am. They're more creative. They're more fill in the blank. But when it comes to your dreams, okay? The reason you have your dream is because it is possible for you. It exists on the same timeline that you are on. So who the fuck are you to question that? Okay? I like to give the voices in my head, the voices. It sounds like Harlequin, you know? It sounds like that's something she's like, I'm just kidding, the voices. That's not what they really said. I should make it real on that one. When I hear those voices, I give it a voice. I give it a name. The name for the voices in my head is Boris. Now, Boris likes to tell me, what's the point? You're this, you're that, you're not good enough, you need to prove yourself, you can't do these things because that's not what other people are doing, and obviously what other people are doing is successful for what you can see from your point of view. So if you also want that success, then you've got to do what they're doing. Now, that goes against my core value. If you listened in our very first episode, I talked about my values. My top joint value with doing things that works for me on my time is doing things authentically. If I sense someone being inauthentic, out of integrity with themselves, saying things that they are like they're just saying it for the sake of saying it, or even lying, like anything inauthentic, disingenuous, dear God, it makes my skin crawl. I just cannot cope with it. So when I am thinking about, I even forgot what I was going to say. When I am thinking about that voice that is saying things to me, I'm like, you are not in integrity with my values. You are not me. You are someone that's completely different. A lot of people will say that the voice in your head is your ego and that is what goes against your intuition. But honestly, I hate that. I hate it with a passion because our ego is a healthy part of us. It gives us a sense of like, I am worthy, I have self-worth, I am valuable, I do not need to prove myself to other people. Look at me, I'm the shit, right? And when you can own that, that is exactly what you should be doing. You are the shit. Fucking believe that you are the shit, okay? Don't let anyone else tell you, especially not that voice that lives rent-free in your head. I mean, how rude. They could at least contribute to the mortgage that you have to pay every single month. But no, they don't. So I give it a different voice because that is not my ego. The voice in my head is my conditioning. It's my limiting beliefs. It is the shit that was projected onto me from teachers, other children in the playground, maybe parents being like, this is something that I wanted and I didn't feel like it was possible for me. So, I don't want you to have that same sense of failure. So I'm going to tell you that it's not possible for you to save you from that pain. But actually what they were doing is just giving you a whole new level of pain that you didn't even know you needed or wanted. And you definitely don't want it or need it because it's just keeping you stuck, right? When you have those big dreams that maybe no one else in your life has, that you don't see anyone else having them, you think, who am I to have that? No one else around me has it. That's exactly why you're going to have it, okay? You have that dream for a reason. Do not question it. That is not your place to question it. Your only place is to take action on that and to actually have that. So when you give that voice a name, I say, Boris, no one asked you your opinion. Sit down, I've got it here, right? I am in control of this Lamborghini. I'm good. When I say that, it becomes a lot easier to ignore that voice and follow that intuitive feeling that I had, because your intuition speaks up. And then Boris, or whatever name you give your voice, I would love to know, FYI, what you end up giving yours. The most ridiculous name, the better, because it'll make you laugh. It'll snap out of the doubt and the worry and the like, oh, I'm not good enough. And you're just going to be like imagining this clown-like person coming to you in real life and trying to say this stuff, and you'd be like, I do not subscribe, get out of my face, I'm going to go live my life. When you have that sense of like, this isn't me, my intuition speaks first, Boris speaks after. About 7 to 9 seconds later, Boris will speak up. So you know exactly how you feel about things. You know exactly what you want to say about things. You know, when clients are like, oh, I know what steps I need to take, I just can't do it. That's because you're listening to Boris. Boris ain't paying the rent. Don't accept his advice, okay? So think about it from that point of view. What are my dreams doing? Are these actions aligning with my values? Okay, this is exactly what I need to follow. The easiest way to ignore the BS that you are telling yourself is to realize that you're not telling yourself anything. It's someone else. It's someone else's voice, someone else's past failures, someone else's fears. You don't need to subscribe to it. Override that voice by literally speaking out loud if you have to, and then saying, I'm going to choose to move on. And that is all you ever need to do when it comes to going after the dreams that you have. I personally feel like when it comes to me feeling like my dreams aren't possible, there's an area of my human design where this really picks up for me, and it's in the solar plexus. This is our emotional center. And for me, it's undefined, which means that center isn't coloured in on my chart, and it means that I really worry about confrontation, sharing my version of events and truth and how I feel, because I'm worried about how other people are going to perceive that. You know, if I'm feeling like really low, I really resent that. I really ignore that and block it out, because again, we weren't really taught how to deal with emotions, bad emotions. Exactly. Here's Boris talking. Bad emotions to me were like sadness, anger, all of these things that people just struggle to deal with, and they try to get you to stop crying, stop doing that, stop acting that way, because they just have no emotional intelligence to hold it for themselves, never mind hold yours. So whenever that came to me being emotional or feeling these low emotions, I was like, that's it, everything's a goner, my entire life is going to go to shit, what is the point, I'm not going to have these dreams, you know, I need to be happy. Like, even manifestation advice, I need to be high vibe and blah blah blah. Even that in itself is a tangent, is complete BS, because you do not have to be high vibe or high anything. The dreams that you have are already on your frequency. Everything you want is already on your frequency. That's the reason why you want it. It's always going to come to you. The only difference is different emotions have different rates of frequency speed. So happiness, joy, love, all of those things have a fast frequency speed. They travel a lot faster, which means you're bringing things all of those things that match that frequency of happiness, joy, you're pulling it to you a lot faster. But when you're feeling sadness, anger, they're quite slow moving frequencies. This has all been proven. And, you know, it makes things move a lot slower. It's like trudging yourself through mud. So whenever you're like, oh, I need to be on a high frequency, don't think about it from a sense of like, I need to be feeling good to get my emotions and to see through this BS. It's like, I'm going to allow myself to be like, where's that BS coming from? Okay, this isn't necessarily my BS. This isn't my fear. This is someone else's. And I'm going to then make myself the priority to feel good, because I want to feel good right now. I want to choose to feel positive and hopeful and optimistic for my future. I don't want to feel someone else's fear. And when you choose to feel positive and optimistic and, you know, not ignoring how you feel, but feeling it through and then saying, okay, I have a choice now. I can decide how I want to feel. And then I can decide from that point what actions I want to take. That's what's going to help you get your dreams a lot faster, a lot more smoother, and with a lot less resistance than if you are constantly feeling like you're getting there by dragging yourself through a bush backwards. Why do that? So that's what I would suggest when you're thinking the BS is in my head, I can't have my dreams. One, whose voice is that? Call it out, give it a name, and then ask yourself how you can prioritize how you feel to match your values, and then ultimately realize that your dreams are coming to you a lot faster when you make that the priority. So I hope that helps. I'll see you in the next episode.